Conchita Gonzalez was 12 years old when she experienced her first apparition with the Virgin Mary on July 2, 1961. She was 16 when she had her last apparition on the 13th of November, 1965, a date that ties Garabandal with the apparitions of Fatima, where Mary came on the 13th of each month between May and October 1917. Conchita saw the Virgin Mary more times than any visionary of Mary's modern apparitions, demonstrating the importance of the Garabandal apparitions and the Garabandal messages.
These apparitions prophesize a very great chastisement to come upon the world if it does not change. In the 2 interviews on this DVD, Conchita describes 3 great mercies that God will send. The first mercy is a supernatural warning that God will send to every person living in the world, regardless of his religion or nationality. This warning will manifest to every human being on earth how he stands before God's throne of judgment. The second mercy is a great miracle God will perform at the grove of pine trees at Garabandal to call human beings to amend their lives while they still have time. The miracle will occur on a Thursday evening within a year following the warning. The third mercy is a supernatural sign that God will place at the pines, which will remain there until the end of time, reminding the world that a chastisement can come. Today, as we live at the end of the times allowed to Lucifer to lead away the nations, Conchita has the role of announcing the day of the great miracle 8 days in advance. Thus it will happen in her lifetime, which by God's standard is soon. When the world clock comes to the year 2011, 50 years will have passed from the time God first sent St. Michael with a banner displaying the first message of Garabandal. That message, transmitted to the world through 4 children, spoke of a very great chastisement.
The interviews of Conchita here presented were made in 1972 and 1973. In these interviews, the young visionary, with the apparition still vivid in her memory, describes the great events of which she is the main witness.
Today, we have present before our eyes the ravages that Lucifer has caused in the world. There is widespread perversion of nature by practices that prevent procreation of children. This is contrary to the teaching of the Catholic Church, that the way to the transmission of life must remain open.
In biblical times, in order to punish unnatural practices, God sent fire and brimstone on the lands of Sodom and Gomorrah, changing them into the Dead Sea. At Garabandal, the chalice of God's wrath is shown overflowing, but not only because of perversion. Great sins come from the sanctuary.
At Fatima in 1916, the Virgin Mary sent an angel to request reparation for the outrages, sacrileges, and indifference by which Jesus Christ was offended in the Blessed Sacrament. When the angel gave Holy Communion to the 3 children at Fatima, he said the body and blood of Jesus Christ was horribly outraged by ungrateful men. He asked the children to console their God. This admonition occurred many years before Vatican II brought immense changes in the Catholic liturgy, which have caused unprecedented irreverence toward the Blessed Sacrament. Previously to that in the secret of La Salette, revealed in 1858, Mary had lamented the irreverence and impiety of priests in celebrating the sacred mysteries, saying that they crucified her Son anew. In 1981, on May 13, the feast day of Our Lady of Fatima, an assassination attempt was made on John Paul II. Following this, the Pope attributed the sparing of his life to the Virgin Mary. In 1984, the Pope showed his appreciation by consecrating Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Now awaited is the fulfillment of Mary's promise at Fatima. In the end, my Immaculate Heart will triumph. Russia will be converted, and an era of peace will be given to the world. To cause the conversion of Russia, God will perform a great miracle at Garabandal. In these interviews, Conchita tells about the miracle and the great events destined to come before her life ends.